Yo, what is going on, guys? And in today's video, I will be doing a double figure review. Now, um, these particular figures that I am reviewing are birthday gifts, because my birthday is actually coming up pretty soon here. It's in 2 days now, actually, and it's a pretty exciting thing, because, it's my Sweet 16. Obviously, for my Sweet 16, I don't have anything incredibly major planned. It's not like I have the most oh like the most incredible planned thing going on. It's mainly just gonna be like a little party with family. And honestly, when I look at it, so far, my 15th birthday was a little more special because I did have I did go to my first concert. That was the day before my birthday. But nothing's gonna really beat that though. Um so yeah, Sweet 16 finally here, and I fought today. And also, I believe we also just reached the milestone of reaching maybe 2 years of the channel in April. I don't know, honestly. But the only reason why I mention this is because I swear I remember making saying something like around this time last year in April, around April, about anniversary on the channel. But yeah, if it has been 2 years, it's been a great 2 years. I love making these videos. They're very fun to do. So thank you all for watching. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of this video, let's get into almost like the appetizer. So I want to quickly go over some of the gifts I received earlier today. Starting things off, we have the Lego Piranha plant. I really like it. It's cool. And I feel like for a while now, I've been building these bigger sets. And also this is stuff from my dad and his girlfriend. I also got this Happy Little Dinosaurs game. It's definitely a fun game that I'll be playing. Then we got the Spider-Man poster, and we got a Dragon Ball Z poster. I also got this One Piece poster, which you'll notice I have right there. So I'm going to be bringing that double of the One Piece poster to my mom's house. I'm going to be putting it up when we move into our new house. So, yeah, definitely going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, let's get into the review and let's start. And just between these two figures as a whole, I think we get started with Monkey D. Luffy. So, starting things off with this Luffy figure, I will say, just feeling around and posing the figure, it is very good. No loose joints whatsoever. I know a lot of people generally have issues with that. I've had my past of quality controls with these figures before, but this guy, the joints feel very good, not too tight. They still use the pinless arms and legs, obviously. And this figure is very sturdy. You'll notice when I shake it, nothing is incredibly loose whatsoever. But I think just as a whole, the figure surprised me quite a bit. I was expecting this guy to be kind of bad in a way because, I watched reviews and I was like, all right, well, people are saying that this figure isn't the best, However, the thing is, one thing you always gotta say and keep in mind is you can't always judge a figure by a review. So just because a reviewer might say a figure is horrible, doesn't mean the figure's that bad. It could be an absolutely perfect figure, but the reviewer just isn't. The figure isn't really their preferred kind of style of figure, So yeah, this guy definitely kind of surprised me a bit. For overall sculpting, you got the nice wrinkles on the jorts. Got the sunflower patterns on the button up. Got the hat tied in, which I will say one thing that they did that this line in particular did better than the figure arts is that they actually gave him the tie instead of having to buy um like buy like that big like Luffy SH figure arts Luffy like extra set. It comes with like the hat with like the tie on it, and then it comes with like the extra arms and stuff. But that's just what figure art does. Figure arts does. They leave out things so that they can make big like packs and for extras of the figure. It's the face sculpt. I think this looks perfect for Luffy in this particular arc. Because again, you have to realize Luffy was pissed at Doflamingo the whole entire time. Just wanted to kick his ass so much. So it makes sense he has the pissed expression. Meanwhile, on the first one, he's smiling because, oh, he's got all these new powers and he's ready to take on anybody and everybody. So yeah, definitely a good expression. You can see he's got the uh, mark in all detail, the sash, got the feet. As a whole, great figure. But now let's get into let's get into accessories. So you notice here currently on the figure I have a fist and an open hand. Obviously for the opposite hand, we have the fist and the open hand. And then of course we have almost like weapon wielding or item holding hands. Not sure what those would be used for, but they're an option. And for articulation, of course, you got the head joint. Nice elbow bend with those double jointed elbows. Got the rotation there at the waist. Sash, I think the sash is a whole separate piece, so it does move a little. Leg can kick up kind of that far and can kick back a little bit there. Got decent spread on the legs for the figure here. The double jointed knees are kind of compressed because of the bottom of the joints here. And of course, as we know, rotation here. Oh, and also rotation here in the arm. And then we do have the these, the ankle rockers. So yeah, overall, very articulated figure. Not quite as articulated as the figure arts. But speaking of figure arts and comparing them, let's get into comparisons between the two of them. Now, I don't mind the fact that I currently have the figure arts in more of like a display type ordeal, but you can notice a big size difference between the two of these, which this is a big thing telling you that these lines do not match size. It's actually kind of funny because I feel like the figure arts kind of downscale the figures compared to other lines. Meanwhile, the anime heroes are kind of in the middle, and the variable action heroes, One Piece figures, upscale the shit out of the figures. Like I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe at some point I'll get like $200 of Amazon gift cards, and I'll buy like, oh, it'd be cool to have like the Boa Hancock of the figure to go with like the Luffy. And but then it's also like, holy crap, she would be like a 7-inch tall figure compared to like these Luffy figures, which are only actually I usually do height, so I'll get the ruler quick. I'll be right back. Alright, I did get the ruler just for a quick height here of the figure. Yeah, but Luffy is standing at about, from the top of the hair, a little over 6 inches, but in the top of the head, almost exactly 6 inches. So yeah. Meanwhile, like the figure arts, is only about 6.5, so it beats it by about half an inch. And I don't even want to know how tall the variable action heroes Luffy is, because because that figure probably is way taller than both of these figures. So, yeah, I think as a whole, let's get into some more comparisons here. Here he is, alongside his crewmate Sanji, and I think they have a pretty good scale. Luffy obviously he is around the same height, I feel like, of these individuals quite a bit. I think Robin, Frankie, and Brooke, and I feel like Nami too, are all kind of taller, and Jinbei's way bigger than them, obviously. Here we have Trafalgar Law. And yeah, you can see Law towers over Luffy. Pretty accurate. Just for some different size comparisons, here he is with Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke's a bit shorter. Here he is next to Nosuke. A little bit, a little bit bigger there. Here he is next to Zoro. Needs to have a pretty good scale here, with Zoro being a little bit taller than the captain. So, as a whole, is this Luffy worth the pickup? If you want a cheap alternative to Luffy without having to pay like too much for a figure, plus on top of that, getting accessory packs, I'd say most definitely. But if you are into more of detail and scale, for example, you'll notice here just on the jorts, there are a lot more sculpting, detailing. There's a lot more shadowing on the figure arts. Then get the figure arts if you're into more of that stuff. But that's gonna cut it for the Luffy. Now let's get into Zoro. Okay, and next up we have the Anime Heroes Zoro Free Sword Style version. So there is a regular version of this Zoro figure, obviously. But this is just the Free Sword Style edition. And I gotta say, this figure really, again, just like the Luffy, did blow me out of the park a bit. Because, I was totally expecting to walk in, horrible quality, I was expecting, I know how they are about these, longer, almost skirt-like pieces, but, they did it really well. So you'll notice that it's in a very soft material that's easy to move. Of course, the top being like that more rougher, more harder type plastic, but they did really soft plastic, so if you wanted to like put them in different poses and stuff, you're able to actually do that, surprisingly, So if you wanted to get them, about to go forward and lunge a free sword style attack at somebody, you can definitely do that with like the bending of the knees here. So this figure's accessory wise is definitely lacking a little, because these are 3 different separate pieces. So the 3, what are they called? Oh crap, what are they? The sheaths, yes, the sheaths. They're all separate pieces. They come out of in the box. They're not just together. He also comes with the 3 swords, and then no extra hands. However, I think that the swords and the 3 swords and the 3 sheaths make up for the absence of hands, I guess. And I think mainly because he's a sword character, it's obvious you're not going to be using like fisted hands on this guy. So yeah, let's get into sculpting and detailing. Let's quickly take the swords out, and I will say, this is one of the most built characters I've seen for an anime heroes figure. He is jacked. The arms are thick. Like, let's just look at the Luffy and just look at that. That's like the size of 3 of those. So yeah, here's what he looks like without all the swords, and you'll notice here, head sculpt looks great. It does look kind of weird when you have the sword out of his mouth, but I think it still looks fine. Yeah, you can just see, look how jacked this man is. Like, they definitely did that very well. Yeah. Even just, the back detailing too, man. Damn. they did good on this figure. Here's like the overall like pants. The pants are just plain black with like the small boot detailing there. So yeah, and then they did some good sculpting on the obviously on the actual piece here with the actual like sculpting the buttons in and stuff. Obviously, then you got the sash, and then you got like almost you can see like the sleeves, and then this is like the inside, and this is like the outside. And then of course you got the green waist wrap. So as a whole, this Zoro is great, I think. It's definitely one of those more of, okay, so this is gonna be a display piece I'm gonna put up somewhere, and you know, I'll have my, it's so, because Zoro isn't always walking around like this, so it's more, I feel like more of a display piece more than anything, but still it's cool to see this. So yeah, let's get into the articulation of this guy. And starting things off, got the head, and this guy's neck moves very well too. Arm can obviously rotate all around, can go up. Got that nice double jointed elbow. Got really great waist articulation. So it gets hindered a bit though. Well, actually no, because he can kick out that far. I'm gonna ultimately switch legs for the kick back though, because obviously the sheaths on this side can kick back about that far. Can kick about that far. For the spread there, not too bad, I would say. Pretty good. And then obviously we got the ankle rocker, and then we got the knee bend. So yeah, the knee bend's pretty great. Obviously it's very hindered by the long, like, cascading skirt piece. But yeah, I think as a whole, this figure is definitely worth it if you want to have almost like if you're more of like a display or like a photographer with your figures. But I will say this, it's very hindered by the plastic there. It also has a very big lack of accessories. However, the thing is, I don't think I haven't been catching up with any of the figure arts reveals and what they've revealed of figures they're going to be making in the future, and I definitely haven't seen figure arts trying to work on doing a free sword style like Zoro with the post time skip look, so I think this is a big win on Anime Heroes, definitely trying to do better things. Or not better things, but trying to do different things within their figures. Instead of staying within their roots and kind of just doing newer characters, all the time. It's always cool to kind of go back on some of these characters they've already done, kind of giving them different looks. So yeah, this is so this was the review. Oh yeah, I almost just finished it up. But for the scale-wise of the figure, from the top of the head, he stands at about 6 and 6.25 inches tall. And here are some size comparisons. So obviously we have one of the most important size comparisons. We already did the size comparison before, but obviously we have to have the right hand man size comparison with his loyal captain, obviously taller. Here he is with the figure arts Luffy, towers over him. Obviously we have definitely another important scale comparison. His comparison with Sanji. Alright, that's actually pretty solid. Here he is with Trophy. Pretty solid. Obviously we got basically Naruto's right-hand man, Sasuke. And then we have another multiple sword user, Inosuke, and yeah, towers over him. And so here's a big warning about the swords, actually. This is another thing that and you can kind of see, okay, so here's the detailing on the swords. The detailing and the look of the swords are amazing, but you can notice they are incredibly warped. And one thing I do know that you can do is you could put them in hot water, like, hit them with, like a blow dryer, and then you can, like, warp them into what shape you want, and then, like, sit them in the cool water or something, where they will, like, stay in that shape. But, again, that's a lot of work. And this is a $20, 20-something dollar figure, too. So, obviously, they're going to be putting the budget into other things, like the overall sculpt of the figure. And this is just another one of those examples of cheap quality swords within the Anime Heroes line. And obviously, it's pretty easy to put the figure's swords in. Just gotta put them in, put the handle, and then this silver sword will always, this white handle sword with the all silver blade will always be the sword that goes in his mouth. And one way I've noticed that it's easier is if you put it in on this side, put it kind of in the opening, and then just push in, kind of get it to work, and then eventually it will work. Get that nice free sword style look. And then, of course, now you can just pose your Zoro around. Get him in those free sword style poses. Or you can just like whooshing, whooshing, slicing everyone up. I do another figure I'm quite interested in that actually kind of revolves around Zoro is the Anime Heroes Mihawk. That is like one of the more, this figure and the Mihawk are also like two of the more recent figures. Yeah, so I definitely am a bit interested to see what that Mihawk figure. Oh, this is interesting. Arm popped off when I tried bending it downwards. Again, the quality control on these cheaper figures, however, of course, it's great because, you can easily fix them. Meanwhile, on something like a figure arts, you accidentally do that, and you might break a peg on a figure. So yeah, I will say this figure is really great. And I think, as a whole, if you're interested in buying one of these two figures, go ahead and do it. Obviously, it's your money. You decide what you buy. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, you can't buy this figure. You need to buy it. If you want to buy it, go ahead and do it. Because, these are great quality figures. Are these figures that everybody needs in their collection? Not necessarily. Are these figures that people should buy in their collection? Yeah. So yeah, that's gonna wrap things up for this video. And yeah, definitely like and subscribe. And we'll see you on the next one. And yeah, thank you everyone for watching.